Hello everyone and welcome to the first look. Now today will be a bit unique because we will take a look at this headphone called Camerton BinomER, or also called BinomER. Depends how you want to pronounce it. Now this headphone is very rare. It's launched in the market for a few years, but there were always upgrades. And Jaben loaned to me this particular copy here. Now this headphone, I just want to get it out of the way. It is quite expensive at about 8 to 9,000 Sing dollars, or about 5,000 plus euros if you go online and search. So without wasting time, let me show you what's inside this box and then also talk about the headphone. Now, unlike other first looks, this one I have really tried it purely because at its cost, I want to use the best amplification, and that will be my HE1, which is in the living room, not in the testing room here. And I tried it out. I also use various DAPs and also a portable amp. I'll tell you about the sound quality a little bit later and how it compares to, for example, the HE1k Unveiled, which is the HE1000. So let's take a look at what's inside the box. So this headphone is like this. Okay, it's wrapped up because it's a demo set. I won't unwrap it. This is how it looks like, white in color for this. There's a wrapping here and two types of cables. Now, I just want to show you guys the uniqueness of this cable. If you notice, one end is a traditional audio jack, which is this kind, XLR, or 4.4. You can see the 4.4 here, yes. But the other end is a USB-C. You can see USB-C here and two USB-C here. So this headphone actually uses USB-C for its termination, which is here. You notice this USB-C. Now this is a bit of a unique termination, and USB-C has been proven to be very durable. Of course, you can break it, as in the connectors here, but the port itself is actually relatively durable, and also it's very resilient to the connection because it has multiple redundant pins. So this is how the headphone is like. It's quite unique. I mean, using USB-C ports on the headphone itself. However, this is not a digital headphone. This is still an analog headphone, just that, it uses USB-C ports on the headphone itself. Now, I just want to also show you something really interesting. If you look at the balance cable, now this cable is a bit messy now, but you can see that there is actually no left and right side for the USB-C cable itself. And then if you look at the 4.4 version, you notice there's only one USB-C and a 4.4. What it shows is that, and also I tried it, is that one USB-C is all you need to have enough connection to the headphone to power left and right side. But, Camerton was saying that if I'm doing balance and it's going to be home, so I give you two sides, so left and right side. You can plug to left, plug to right is okay, and it really has no orientation for the cable itself, but having two cables means you got redundancy and you got more wires to the headphone itself. I mean, some people care about how much wires are going to the headphone, and both of them together have more wires than, of course, a single one, which is this portable cable here. So quite interesting take on it. And because this is USB-C and they are claiming that because it's USB-C, there is no one particular way to connect. You can connect anyone, it will automatically find its left and right side. So there's probably a wiring that ensures that. So you can plug left side, right side, left side, it doesn't really matter. It will still give you left and right. And then also you can plug in this way, rotate it out, plug in the other way. It also sounds the same. Quite interesting implementation for USB-C on a headphone that is. So this headphone has USB-C as a bottom. Then there's of course the left and right side, which is engraved here. So I don't think you can see it, but it's engraved, for example, left side here with the serial number, and then right side here with the serial number. Now this headphone has really little amount of adjustment, just up and down. This reminds me of the Diana series of headphones, in fact. Very limited adjustments other than the fact that you can extend and contract the headbands. Pretty much that's about it. I would have to say the pads are ultra plush, super thick and plush, and unlike the Diana Free pads, which is a bit thinner in the earlier iterations and got thicker later, these pads allow you to put on your head very comfortably, plus they seal properly throughout, so no worries on it. This headphone, by the way, is a planar magnetic headphone. So it doesn't look like it. It looks really small. But from my understanding, the driver is like almost 10 cm. So this whole place here should be the driver itself. And it's really, really light for a planar magnetic headphones. And in fact, if you take a look at how it's designed, the whole driver assembly is only this thin. very similar to what you get in the Diana series. So a very, very light headphone. So as I said, I tried this headphone, with various devices. So I tried it with my Lotopore Gold Touch here. I also tried it with my Canon C9 connected, and I tried it, of course, outside with my HM1. They do sound very different. So that's the interesting part of this headphone. This headphone is surprisingly susceptible to how it's being amplified. Unlike many other headphones which have a very distinct signature, this headphone also has a distinct signature, but it changes quite a bit depending on which player or device you connect to. And just to note, this is a planar magnetic headphone. It is quite big, the driver. However, when it comes to the power requirement, it seems to be really low. Even my Lotopore can actually power this nicely. Lotopore has only like 500 milliwatts of power. It has no issue playing this loud enough to have good sound with no clipping anything. And in fact, this combination was actually my best combination. I like this combination the best. And I'll explain to you first. Now, this headphone has a sound signature which I would describe as a very big sound. However, it has relatively elevated lower mids and a very warm signature, like really warm signature itself. The mids are very smooth to the point that sometimes I'm wondering whether details are being lost. However, when the vocals come in, it is like really clear, and when the bass hits, which is like upper bass, lower mids, it is very clear, very well textured, very distinct. Bass on this headphone is very nice. There is good amount of bass. Vocals are very smooth, very sweet, especially for female vocals. Male vocals have a lot of lower energy. However, instruments playing in the mids, as I said just now, it feels like there's a lot of elevated lower mids, a lot of body elevation, and to the point where I was thinking whether there is any loss in details. So that's really something to note. The mids are, to me, a mixed bag. Treble, however, is like really clear. It's like distinct, clean and clear. So, when I first heard it, I was like, a very warm sounding headphone. Maybe it's not going to be bright. But actually, it is quite sparkly up top. So all the symbols and stuff, very distinct, very clean. And pretty much I would say, as if you are looking for details in the upper spectrum, it is very good. Details in the lower spectrum, it is very good. It's only details in the mids that are not too sure, right? I tried many songs and I can't come to a grasp of, I can't grasp really, is this the mids that I like or I don't like? It sits in a very weird position, because when I'm listening to pure vocal sound, it sounds really, really good, like this warm, sweet and smooth sound. But the moment there are other instruments in the mids, I'm thinking whether am I losing details. But when I actually go and play it on my like HE1000 Unveiled, I was hearing it and I don't think there's any detail loss. It just feels like there is a veil over the mids, particularly in the lower mids. So that's really how I feel about this headphone. Very interesting sound signature. Now, is the signature good, right? I think if you like this kind of warm, more slurpy sound, I think this is really good. It's like really smooth and warm, a bit thick, a bit smoothed out for the details, but very, very nice. Like for female vocals, I can tell you that it's really, really good. And the sound is still really, really big and still really clean for the bass and the treble. It doesn't like have muddy, bloated bass, nor does it have treble that is like non-existent. It has both of them. It's just the mids that are very different. This really reminds me a little bit on one of the headphones that I tried, one of the Yamaha, I believe, their headphone, but it did it in a better way than the Yamaha. The Yamaha one was a bit weird to the extent where I will put it more weird and eccentric rather than good sounding and generic sounding. This is more towards the good and generic sounding rather than the weird sounding. But that said, how does it compare if I was using different amplifiers, right? So with the Lotopore, things get a bit thinner in the mid, surprisingly, and it got clearer. So actually, I love it best. It toned down the, I would say, as the warmness in the mids a little bit, and it sounded the best to me. It has less thicker body and therefore less mess in the mids itself. And then when I was listening in the Cayenne, same thing. I prefer it in solid state hyper mode rather than any of the tube modes, because it does make the mids a bit more clearer and cleaner than the tube modes itself. The tube modes just add too much smoothness in it that is already very smooth for the headphones. And then for my HM1, I also use it in the servo mode. So HM1 has the non-servo mode and the servo mode. And the servo mode technically is as good as, you can say, a feedback version, which is a lot cleaner than the non-servo mode. And the servo mode is nicer. It just also does the same thing. It makes the mids a lot clearer and cleaner than it was in the servo mode. The servo mode gives you this slightly thicker, smoother sound, which I think is unnecessary for this particular headphone here. And as such, I was really pleasantly surprised once paired properly that this headphone actually sounds really, really, really good. The question is, how does it compare to the HE1000 Unveiled? The first thing that got in my mind was the difference in the soundstage, right? It sounds big. This one sounds like a big bubble over your head, like really big bubble. Think of it as like CA1A, which is the one from RAW Requisite, the big bubble sound. But this is a warm version of the CA1A, big bubble warm sound, rather than the cool bubble sound you get in the CA1A. Next thing is the height of the sound. The HE1000 is higher. By the way, it's the HE1000 Unveiled. It is higher in terms of its soundstage, but the layers itself, I think this one has a bit more layers. Now, when it comes to absolute clarity, I would say the HE1000 Unveiled is definitely clearer sounding. Once again, it goes back to the mids region. I don't know, this mids render don't give me that feeling that it is like super, super clear, while the HE1000 is like crystal clear in the mids itself. The Unveiled version is actually fantastic, crystal clear mids there. Then when it comes to the vocals, this is like super smooth and slurpy, and very nice if you are going for a slightly slower song or even female song. It makes it like really nice and smooth and very enjoyable to listen to. And to add on to that, this headphone has very to no sibilance. It is one of the lowest sibilance headphones that I've heard so far. As such, when I play female vocals, it is really nice to me. There's no this pitchy sound that I didn't like. Even though there is still good amount of treble there. The HE1k has also very little sibilance, but it's still a slightly cooler, brighter sound compared to this headphone. And as such, if you're looking at pure vocals, I think this is the one that you can just put on, sleep, and enjoy. Very interesting sound. Treble wise, I think personal preference here, both of them sounds very nice, very clean. I do feel like the HE1000 Unveiled is more airy. However, once again, this one, when it comes to absolute soundstage, the size of the sound, this one really is the biggest sound compared to whatever that the HE1000 Unveiled could do. Pretty much that's about it. I mean, I think you can hear my enthusiasm plus skepticism together in a single headphone itself because of its really unique mids. This headphone seems like it needs proper pairing, and with a proper pairing, this can be the best thing ever, or if a bad pairing, it can be the worst thing ever because of how the mids are rendered and how details are placed there and everything. It's very interesting. And not only that, if you are in the genre of warm, smooth sound, maybe like jazz, or maybe like female vocals, male vocals, they're going for a slightly smoother sound signature, this will give you that. But if you want exciting, electrifying sound, this don't give you that electrifying sound. I mean, the moment you put on, it's just warm, so I don't think you can ever get electrifying sound. But that said, I think this headphone is not suitable, at least for me. I tried it a few times, not suitable with tubes. It just makes it too slurpy, too much body, too heavy. Not good for tubes. This is really a headphone that is meant for solid state. And even for solid state, you need to go for the clean and clear sound. Now I have this feeling that maybe, something like Toping's A70 Pro will be a perfect match. Like the stir-out sound. And then it will balance out this really warm sound together to get this very perfect, in the middle, smooth but clear sound. I need to try it in the future, but I'm going to return this headphone real soon. I have no time left. But you get what I mean, right? Very interesting headphone here. And I think it's something that you should listen. I won't outright recommend it in any way unless you really like warm sound. If you like warm sound, you like that smooth sound, you are the type that love the atrium, but even warmer than the atrium open, maybe this is the one for you. But if you are first time into this hobby or looking for the first high-end headphone, I think you should try this first before you actually commit to this, because it is really expensive and the sound is particularly different from almost anything I tried so far. And that's about it. I hope you enjoy my first look. Once again, thanks to Jaben for loaning me this copy. A very interesting headphone, and if you are interested in it, you can actually go down to Jaben and try it out. This is something that you should try, really. Yeah, I do hope that they have a swivel so it makes life a bit easier. But as I said, still very comfortable. That's about it. I'll see you guys again. Bye-bye.